Twitch has released an update to their sexual content policies. This has gotten a lot of people to question what exactly they are doing. More in particular, some people think that this is a sign that Twitch will be sliding back towards how things used to be, with scantily clad female figures dominating the website. So what are these updates? Well, rather than just make a little knee-jerk video talking about, Twitch bad, I hate Twitch, I decided I'd go ahead and we'd read all their actual posts and, see for ourselves. Before I get into this, I do want to say that I did go to Twitch and I did go to their Just Chatting page, and I scrolled not even too far down their Just Chatting page, and I got, let's just say, an idea of how people were going to be using these changes. So to be clear, this is on incognito. You can see that right here. So my search history is not impacting this at all. This is just outright what you get now on their front page. What changes have allowed this to happen? Why can people now stream like this? Well, a few weeks ago, I should say, I think last week, someone went viral for basically doing this pose here and being allowed on Twitch, streaming like that. It was a porn actor who was doing that, and Twitch then decided they would update their policies to allow that sort of thing these days. I don't know why, but that's their reaction to the situation. Okay, so let's read this article. We have received consistent feedback from streamers that our current policies around sexual content are confusing and that it can be difficult to know how their content will be interpreted based on these policies. We want streamers to feel confident that they understand our rules and viewers to feel confident they will get the experience they expect. To accomplish this, we are making two changes effective today: streamlining our policies regarding sexual content and updating the criteria used for homepage recommendations. Now, to be clear to everybody, I am in incognito. This is what is presented to you on the Just Chatting page. Okay, let me update this and let me see if this is still, I'm just gonna shift update. We're gonna have a total refresh. I'm incognito. So this is what will be given to me if I am a completely new user to Twitch. This is the sort of content. We can see that Just Chatting is blatantly the most viewed thing here. I'm in incognito, so this is the biggest category. I click into the biggest category, and what do I see? This is what I see. I just want to clarify to everybody, okay, that I'm not like lying or exaggerating, making things up. Like, that's, you click onto Twitch, you go into their biggest category, and that's what you see. Okay, so to be effective, policies need to be easy to understand so that a streamer knows what is allowed on the site and what is not allowed. Part of the confusion comes from the fact that there are currently two separate policies in the community guidelines that address sexual content. There's also another additional section in the content classification guidelines that describes when a streamer needs to label their content as including sexual themes. Going forward, these sexual suggestive content and sexually explicit content policies will be consolidated into a single sexual content policy within the community guidelines. This policy specifies the type of sexual content that are prohibited on Twitch, and violating this policy will result in an account enforcement. Okay, so I'm going to summarize this as basically they're trying to come up with one list of rules that applies to everybody. But as we continue to read through this, you'll see that their list of rules is significantly more lenient than it's ever been in the past, and has directly allowed many people to immediately jump on this and start streaming the sort of content that you might not expect from a website such as Twitch. Okay. When consolidating these two policies, we removed portions of the sexually suggestive content policy that closely resembled language in the content classification guidelines. I'm going to roll it up. Basically, what they're saying here is they're removing the sexual content policies will no longer cover language. So sexual language is no longer covered here at all. Okay. We launched content classification label CCL. So from now on, CCL is content classification label. Back in June, in recognition that some content that is allowed on our service may not be suitable for all audiences. We believe that accurate content labeling is key to helping viewers get the experience they expect. And now we can enable appropriate labeling of sexual content using CCLs. We believe that some of the restrictions in our former policies are no longer required. In addition to providing clarity, these updates will reduce the risk of inconsistent endorsement and bring our policy more in line with other social media services. Other social media services will often have, let's say, sexualized thumbnails, but as I have just now refreshed this website, you can see that perhaps other social media services do not have content that is this twerking for subs testing new meta. Okay, I just want people to realize that when they're saying they're bringing it closer to other services, there does seem to be, which services are they bringing them closer to? Are they bringing them closer to, say, YouTube, TikTok, or are they bringing them closer to YouPorn? You know, which side would you think they're bringing them closer to? Okay. In addition to providing clarity, these updates will also reduce the risk of inconsistent enforcement and bring our policy more in line with their social media services. The fact below provides a high-level summary of some of the changes, and you can find the full policy language, including detailed examples of prohibited content on the Safety Center. So, just to be clear, this is not the full policy. These are just things that they are saying as an example, okay? So, this is what they are hoping you take away from these policy changes. This isn't me misinterpreting their policy. This is them saying outright what this policy includes now, the policy change includes, okay? Content recommendation for the homepage. We also recognize that not all members of the community want to see certain content, even if it is properly labeled with a content classification label. When a CCL is applied, viewers must provide explicit consent before they can start watching the stream. Okay, so let's test that here. I want to see twerking for subs testing new meta. Okay, just 1 second. The Wild Latinas content is intended for certain audiences. Okay, well, I didn't need to log in. I didn't need to provide proof of age or anything like that. I just want to do that for proof for everybody. Okay. Let me go back and I'll click on one more just to double check things. Let's look at this one. Yep, once again, no proof of age, nothing like that. So I could just click through on this one right away. Okay, just wanted to double check, just wanted to verify their policy here if it was working as intended. Okay, we have now verified it. Okay. However, if labeled streams are shown on the Twitch homepage, viewers may still see content in stream thumbnails that makes them uncomfortable. We want to make sure the homepage, which is often the first page that viewers land on, is more aligned with viewer expectations. To address this, we're updating the criteria used for the homepage recommendations. Streams that are labeled including drugs, intoxication, excessive tobacco use, violent and graphic depictions, gambling, and sexual themes will no longer be included in homepage recommendation shelves due to the visual nature of these topics. Streams labeled as including mature rated games and profanity will not be affected by this update unless the streamer has also selected one of the labels bolded above. So what they're saying here is on the homepage itself, so not this, but on the homepage itself, here we go. Now remember, I'm not logged in or anything like that. You will no longer see sexual content, but to be honest, I'm gonna be blunt. I don't think sexual content should ever really have been here anyway. But what they're not doing, to be clear to everybody, what they're not doing is here you can see that this stuff is still in thumbnail form, perfectly viewable before you've done anything. Okay, so yeah. They are saying though that if you're playing a video games are exempt unless the video game uses this label as well, which will obviously get very muddled already, and I can already see issues happening here. Viewers can still search for or go directly to channels they follow that are streaming labeled content via the left bar on the homepage, but streams using these labels will not be surfaced in the homepage recommendation shelves. Streams with these labels will still be included in the category page recommendations, so viewers can navigate to the appropriate category for this content. Okay, so what they are saying is this content is still recommended to you on these categories. So if I was to be on the Twitch page and I click browse, and then I see, I'll just give the old Giga refresh here so you guys can believe me. If I see the most popular category right here is just chatting, once again, I'm going to click on this. Once again, from here, I have now gone to here very, very, very easily. Okay, I just want to explain to you they're using kind of flowery language to hide just how easy it is to find this content. This isn't exactly like clever or tricky. It is literally, I just click on browse, I click on the biggest category, and there I am. Okay, I just want people to understand this. So, okay. Making this change helps ensure that viewers will not see content they haven't consented to seeing, unless they click onto the browse to find a stream, unless they go to find a stream, which is very odd to me that they're using it like this. We will continue to explore adding more personalized viewer settings in the future. We want you to feel confident that you know what is expected of you, and we believe these changes will help you make informed decisions about your content. We appreciate your feedback on this topic, and we're always keeping an eye out for additional feedback via user voice. Okay, let's go to frequently, because this is where things get a bit more interesting. Okay. What is changing with this new update? Okay. Answer. Some types of content that were prohibited will now be allowed on Twitch, if appropriately labeled. These changes include previously prohibited but now allowed with label. Content that deliberately highlighted breasts, buttocks, or pelvic region even when fully clothed. So this is now allowed. Streamers found it difficult to determine what was prohibited and what was not allowed, what was allowed, and often evaluating whether or not a stream violated this portion of the policy was subjective. In addition, the former sexually suggestive content policy was out of line with industry standards and resulted in female presenting streamers being disproportionately penalized. Okay, I do agree that female presenting streamers would be disproportionately penalized for showing tits because most men don't have tits. So I do believe that that's true, but the way they word that is a bit... The way they word it is like they're doing women a favor here, but they're really not. They're just saying, you can now do this. This is now allowed. You can now do this. That's fair. They're saying this is now fair so long as you label it. So long as it's labeled. And once labeled, people will have a very hard time finding this content. And they won't be able to access it. Okay, well, I just accessed it. Okay, well, unless you click on it and unless you see it right in front of you. And so there you go. You see it right in front of you. It's right there. So, okay. Okay, I guess. Fictionalized, drawn, animated, or sculpted, fully exposed female presenting breasts and or genitals and buttocks regardless of gender. So this is now allowed. You can now have fictionalized, fully exposed female presenting breasts or genitals or buttocks regardless of genitals. There's a thriving artist community on Twitch, and this policy was overtly punitive and did not reflect the impact of the content. So I had a thing here, but now I can't find it. Shoot. So basically, you can now draw porn on Twitch, so long there's not actual like sex in it. You can now just draw outright porn, like outright porn, like so long as you're not masturbating or having sex, you can now just draw porn, just nude porn. You can just draw that on Twitch. I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of, while I was making this video, I actually had to do a second take because I saw that just right there in the thumbnail, and that's obviously not allowed on YouTube. So while I was making this video, it's not here anymore. I was kind of hoping it wasn't going to show up. It's like, I don't know if I should continue to look. Oh my God. 18 plus hot gamer girl, your Eva Efi. Okay, great. This is what we got. I'm just saying, right? Like this is being recommended to me. This is the content being recommended to me. Okay, this is, in fact, yep. This is it, everybody. Okay, amazing. Body writing on female presenting breasts and or buttocks regardless of gender. The Twitch attire policy already allows body art on breasts or buttocks. This change makes their policies consistent. Okay, you can now be nude and paint yourself, which is, I'm reading it correctly, but that just doesn't seem right. Body painting on female presenting breasts and or buttocks. Okay, you can now draw yourself. You can now get naked so long as you draw yourself. Very odd, that. Erotic dances that involve disrobing or disrobing gestures, such as strip teases. I Don't know why they are specifically and explicitly allowing stripteases, but that is now allowed under Twitch. You can now have stripteases on Twitch. This is now their words, not mine. They are now allowing stripteases. Okay. Changes to popular dances. Popular dances such as twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed without a label. Previously, some dances were prohibited and others were allowed with a label. Enforcing on dances regardless of content meant our policy prohibited twerking at a wedding. Our policy prohibited twerking at a wedding. How often are people twerking at weddings that this came up and needed its own change? I don't know, like, is Twitch saying that, like, are they trying to get sympathy? Like, oh no, all those poor people twerking at weddings were getting struck by our rules. Are they saying that, or are they trying to, like, use weddings to make us feel bad? Like, think of all those poor people twerking at weddings we had to ban. Is this normal? Is this okay? Or taking a pole dancing exercise class, for example. Okay, I'm sorry. We all know what taking a pole dancing exercising class and streaming it means, right? Like, we all know what that means, right? Like, we're not stupid, okay? Like, we all know what they're okay. The policy now takes context into consideration and only prohibits streaming inside of an adult entertainment establishment. Okay, so long as you're not streaming an actual adult entertainment establishment, you can now stream yourself doing the exact same things they do in an adult entertainment establishment. Does that mean that Twitch is now an adult entertainment establishment? Okay. With the updates to the sexual content policy, are artistic depictions of nudity allowed? Content with a focus on fictionalized, drawn, animated, or sculpted sexual body parts regardless of gender, such as doing nude figure drawing, are allowed with a sexual themes label. Their words, not mine. Content with a focus on fictionalized sexual body parts regardless of gender are allowed with a sexual themes label. So that wasn't me. I wasn't lying to you guys. I wasn't exaggerating. Okay, I straight up, when I went at first to the website, I did see a dude just straight up drawing porn, and the thumbnail was a dude just straight up drawing porn, and I was like, oh, cool, I guess. Okay. However, fictionalized sexual acts or masturbation remain prohibited. Okay, you can now draw a completely nude figure. You can put that on Twitch. You can be showing your porn collection so long as you pretend you're drawing it. You can now show all your porn collection off on Twitch. That is allowed. That is legal, so long as none of them are masturbating. Is body painting on the breast or buttocks allowed as Twitch? Okay, as long as the attire requirements are met, body painting on the breast or buttocks is allowed with the sexual themes label. Okay. How does Twitch handle nudity in gaming? This one's long and takes basically, it's really complicated. You know what? I'm going to have to read it. You guys are going to understand. This is going to get so complicated, so stupidly, so long. Okay. We handle nudity in games in two ways. First, games featuring nudity, pornography, sex, or sexual violence as a core focus or feature are entirely prohibited. Custom gameplay or visual modifications that include nudity or sex content, including uncensored patches in otherwise allowed games, are prohibited. Learn more about prohibited games. I don't actually want to. Wait, no, I don't want to. This will be complicated because many games are released on Steam. Then as they're released on Steam, they have a safe, version of it that maybe doesn't have porn, and then you can go download a patch from their website that allows porn. But otherwise, the game would normally not include porn unless you also bought it from the website of the game maker, right? A porn game. Now, the problem with this is that if the game was allowed and I bought the game from the porn maker's website, would this now be allowed on Twitch? Could I go play Nico Para or other, nude catgirl sex games? Because, the only problem I have here is by their rules, technically you are just buying the game. And so now this is, they're trying to make it clear. That's why I was saying their game rules are very interesting. Second, for games where nudity is not the core focus or feature, the mature rated games content classification label is sufficient for incidental nudity. However, the sexual themes label must be applied to gameplay that focuses on nudity. Learn more about the mature rated games content classification label. So the problem here is that if I played a game such as Baldur's Gate 3, where the main focus was not on nudity and not on sexual themes, 99% of your run through of Baldur's Gate 3 will not include nudity of any sort, unless you just make your characters nude, I suppose, right? So presuming that, then you could just show the sex on Baldur's Gate 3 now under their rule system. Do you understand that? And that also calls into question some things, because now who determines whether a game does or does not focus on sexual themes? Okay. Users may not engage in simulated sexual activity or erotic roleplay with other players in online games. Games that primarily consist of user-generated content, in-game roleplay, or interactions in virtual reality are not exempt from this policy. So once again, we have another thing that I read this and I already thought to myself, dang. The problem is they're trying to be so inclusive, they're getting to the point where like people who are blatantly going to abuse this instantly are going to, call into question some of these rules, which is, and this is, in my opinion, this whole problem with this whole system. They keep buckling down and they keep giving in to people who want to turn Twitch into this. They keep giving in to the people who want this to be Twitch, right? And every step of the way, they keep giving in, and every step of the way, they keep making it more and more able for people to do that. And, realistically speaking here, in a gameplay, users may not engage in simulated sexual activity or erotic roleplay with other players in online games. Does that mean that the user themselves can't do that? Does that mean other people can't do that? Does that mean they can't show it if they happen upon other people doing it? What is the rule here on that, right? Like, let's say I'm playing a game and I watch other people doing this sort of activity. Is that also no longer allowed? In the past, it used to be don't show it at all, ever, or we'll ban you. So people had to work really hard to not show it because they didn't want to get banned. But now with these rulings being way more ambiguous and being way less strict, I guess my thoughts here is, since this whole rule change came to being from a porn actress. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a porn actress, but using Twitch to advertise for your porn videos was a bit weird, and the way she did it was also a bit right? And yeah, let's just move on. If the mature rated game that I'm playing includes violence, alcohol, gambling, or sexual themes, does that mean I also need to apply the relevant content classification label in addition to the mature rated game label? The mature rated game label covers most content that occurs within the game itself. If the content is encountered as part of the regular gameplay. However, if a streamer chooses to focus their stream on in-game content that features sexual themes such as fictional nudity, or overlays their gameplay with comments or topics that qualify for content classification label, they should apply all relevant labels. In-game content that features simulated sexual activity between players is still prohibited. So this is between players, okay? So I guess my question now is, this doesn't include other players, right? In-game content that features simulated sexual activities between players is still prohibited. Does this disallow content that is not between players, but instead could be other people? Is this players and non-people? You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to allow so many things, and I'm not sure why they're trying to allow so many things, but the fact that they are means that people will just push it a little further. That's what happens. Every time they back down, people push it a little further. Will streams labeled with CCLs no longer be recommended in the left bar of the homepage on their recommended channels? This update will not prevent streams from being recommended in the left bar of the homepage, as stream thumbnails are not shown in that section. So just to be clear on this, just in case you thought this was getting weird, you could see 18 plus hot gamer girl, your Ava Iffy, you could see that recommended to you here, okay? Because it doesn't show the thumbnail. So I could just see someone recommended to me this way. I don't know why, for some reason or another. Right here on the homepage, I could see it recommended to me here. So long as it doesn't include the thumbnail, they're perfectly fine with that. Okay. What happens if I don't use a content classification label? Well, hopefully they ban you, but knowing now, they might just not even ban you and say, oh, we'll change our rules to allow that then. Okay, whatever. Wait, what? Our sexual themes content classification guidelines describe what content needs to be labeled using the sexual themes label. Failure to use a content classification label accurately will result in warnings, and the correct CCL will be applied by Twitch to the stream. If you fail to apply the correct CCL repeatedly, the CCL will be temporarily locked onto the stream, but it will not result in a suspension. So basically what they're saying, that little thing I clicked on earlier that allowed me to view the stream, that will be your punishment. If you show too much porn, they will punish you by putting that onto your stream, which 99% of users presumably will just click through automatically because no one cares, right? So I guess I'm just amazed. Wow, okay. Man, I feel like I should watch this guy. He's got the meta down, right? He knows what he's doing here, right? She also, are those even real? Okay. So here we go. That was the entire Twitch sexual content update. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? My personal takeaway is that this is like really dumb, and that Twitch is backing down again. Every time stuff like this happens, they back down and they back down and they back down and they back down. I don't know who they're afraid of losing to, because I don't think any other streaming platform is as big as Twitch, right? So it doesn't really make sense to me that Twitch is like, I don't understand why are they backing down so much? Why are they backing down so much and trying so hard to try to be a more like powerful platform? They're already the biggest streaming platform. Why are they trying to get the porn so hard? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Anyway, that's this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you, everybody. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.